Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending upon what time of day or night you're watching this recorded presentation for you. We're super excited to spend a couple of minutes with you right now. I want to ask you a quick question. What is one of the biggest expenses that you have to pay every year? It's an annual expense. It comes out of your bi-weekly check if you're getting income on a regular basis. If you're an independent business owner, you got to take it out yourself. But it's one of the biggest expenses that all of us have to contend with, right? Taxes, okay? Now, a lot of people hear the word taxes and you can see them, they roll their eyes, they moan, they groan, they're feeling some type of way about it, or they get nervous. If you say IRS and taxes, they get nervous, they get afraid. And you've heard so many stories of people who look at their paychecks and they're just not satisfied because they see how much is being taken out of their checks, and they're wondering, how am I going to use what's left over to cover all of my expenses, feed my family, and deal with the debt that I've accrued. So we're going to be talking to you over these next couple of minutes about some very important tactics that you want to be aware of when it comes to better positioning yourself in this space. Now, we're here with Courtney Epps. She is a tax strategist. She's got 18 years of experience working with $100 million companies to individuals, to independent business owners. She's been in the game. She's seen it from the big point of view all the way to the average guy and gal that's just out here trying to make a living and do better with their tax information. Now, she's been through a lot. I was looking over her bio here. She built an organization in her tax strategist business of over 3,500 clients, starting with just a handful, and grew it to 3,500. So that's a clue that she's very good at what she does. She's also experienced and has a PhD in the hard school of knocks, all right? She's been going through it. She's been through divorce. She's a mother of 6 children. She's gone through bankruptcy. She's gone through foreclosure. So she's not coming into this with some high convoluting, not in touch with the real of what's happening in most people's lives. She's gone through it and come out on the other side, has a very successful practice right now, has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients around the world, and she's just getting started. And we had a conversation because we were talking about what people are dealing with in terms of their ignorance. Now, Courtney, correct me if I'm wrong, someone said that if you were to read all of the pages of the tax code, it's like 1,000,000 pages or something. It's some huge, ginormous document. Who's got time? Who's going to actually read that, right?
Right.
So the government depends on our ignorance. It's kind of like when you sign up for Facebook or you sign up for Instagram, and there's all of these disclaimers that you have to check off, and we all know none of us read them, right? We just checked them, gave over all of our private information and all of that. Well, what Courtney wants to do is help you, because obviously you're not going to have time to read the tax code. No one's going to study that. We understand that. But if you could leverage her expertise and her experience, years, almost 2 decades of experience, and then she could show you how to better position you and your family so that when the paycheck comes, you have a strategy to better position yourself financially, so you're not just at the whim of what someone is telling you what to do. You don't even know if that's accurate or not. So she's going to really help us to see things a lot more clearly. So let's get into it, Courtney. Why are so many people misinformed when it comes to paying their taxes, how to file their taxes appropriately? Why are they so misinformed on that?
Well, I think the biggest reason is that we're misinformed in college. So there is not a tax strategy class when I went to college. The 150 hours I took, there wasn't a single one that helped me save my clients money. It just taught me how to prepare a tax return. It taught me how to do journal entries for bookkeeping, but there was never that person that said, okay, this is what you need to do, how to save people money. And so I've learned that over time, we're taught by government employees. So they're not really going to teach us how to save money on taxes, because that would actually hurt the IRS. So I have taken it upon myself to do a ton of research in the tax code and reading other books by other CPAs and tax attorneys on strategies, because I knew that Walmart paid 0.12% in taxes. And so if they can pay that much money and the average employee is paying 40% in taxes,
Wow.
there's something wrong. So I just started learning, and one for myself, because I have been a business owner for the last 17 years, and I wanted to save myself money. So the more money you make, you've got to figure out ways that you can legitimately save that money. So that's what I've been able to do, and help my clients do the same thing.
Now, and what I've seen is that typically the people that work the hardest are usually paid the least and taxed the most. And because they're not informed, and I can remember during the last presidential election, he was a candidate then, but he's a president now. He was bragging about the fact that he paid virtually no taxes at all. And he said, I just used the law, what was available. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you can't be mad at somebody for using legal means to be smart about their taxes. And from what I've learned about you and all of the families that you've serviced and the business clients that you've serviced, you have really helped them to take the proper steps and use the right legal means to save so much money on their taxes. And a lot of people don't understand, Courtney, that's another income stream if you really look at it, right?
Yes, it is. And I mean, if you had just saving $4,000 a year in taxes, that's equivalent to having to make $7,000 a year or $3.50 an hour, which is huge.
Wow. Okay. So tell me about home-based businesses. I know you and I have talked a lot about that. We're both proponents of the home-based business. You said to me, Ed, if you don't have a home-based business, you're throwing money away. So why were you stating that so strongly?
So statistically, and this is true, I went and looked it up, $60,000 a year is what the average household makes. They pay $14,000 a year in taxes. Wow. So that brings them to a take-home pay of $46,000, and that does not include their medical insurance or 401k or anything else. Mm-hmm. Now, of that 46, the cost of living in America on average is $53,000 a year. So they're going in debt $7,000 a year to work 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, and maybe get a couple weeks off for vacation. And so when I heard those statistics, it really hit me hard, because I know that having a home-based business is the only way for a W-2 employee, salaried employee, whatever you want to call them, to take them from being in the tax system for W-2 employees and pull them over to the business owner tax system, and to be able to do that on a part-time basis. And the average home-based business owner that also has a W-2 income is saving between $4,000 and $7,000 every single year. And I mean, I've seen the most, I think, is $35,000 that it's saved in taxes. But I mean, $4,000, $5,000 a year, that's a huge difference. That is life-changing money for someone. And instead of going out and getting another job, most people would just go and say, hey, I'll work more hours, or I'll go work a second job. And they're actually putting themselves in a higher tax bracket. So they're actually paying more in taxes than what they were paying, and they're bringing home less money.
That's so scary and ridiculous when you hear you say that. That's so true. Is it fair to say that the majority of people that you've worked with over almost 2 decades, thousands and upon thousands of clients, have little to no financial education when it comes to not just taxes, but even just money and how to handle money?
They have none. I actually just had a conversation a couple weeks ago with a business owner who'd been in business for 45 years, had a publicly traded company in his prior life 20 years ago, and then also has built a company up to $450 million. And when I sat down with him and went over the information that I typically teach to my clients and to potential clients, he had no clue, and actually asked me to be his accountant after that, because he did not understand. Nobody had sat down with him and went over that information. And so many people understand or think that their CPA or their tax preparer is there to save them money, but their tax preparer is there to file their tax return based upon the information that they're given. And so if you don't have that tax planning done prior to April 15th or January to April when you take someone your tax return, it's really hard to save someone money for 2018 when you're already in 2019.
Amen. Well, listen, ladies and gents, let me make this very clear to you. Most people don't have the financial education. You didn't get it in school, elementary, junior high, and high school. If you did go to college or beyond, you probably didn't get it there unless you specialized in it. So you graduate with a degree, you have student loan debt that you can't afford to pay off because you cannot find a job now, and you're moving back home and competing for jobs at Walmart or Walgreens with your grandparents trying to pay off those loans. Now you have all this student loan debt, and you're working a minimum wage job or a low paying job, and you're getting taxed out the wazoo on that, and you don't know what you don't know. Now, unless you grew up in a very rich and successful household and both your parents were millionaires or one of them was, or a relative, and they were coaching you on wealth principles, chances are you didn't have those conversations at home either, which means just like me, just like Courtney, you had 20,000 meals with the wrong financial planners when you were growing up. And when we were kids, you couldn't ask somebody, hey, how much money did you make last year? Because that was considered rude. You couldn't talk to an adult about money. So we can't talk about it. It's taboo. We're not learning about it in school. We're not learning about it at home. And we wonder why so many people are in the financial mess that they're in. There was an expose that PBS did. 70% of people that live in the United States don't even have $3,000 in a savings account. 70%. Okay? The majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So if you're watching this and you know good and doggone well that you're borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, that you're living check to check, or you're nowhere near where you thought you were going to be at this stage in your life. You thought by the time I reach this stage or this age or this part of my career, I'm going to be here financially, and you know that you're nowhere close. So if any of that resonates with you, we're going to make something available, okay? Now, Courtney has a selection process. She is incredibly booked already, as you can imagine. Her client docket list is out the window. However, it's very important. She's conveyed her passion about getting this information out to people, giving people the opportunity to know better. If you know better, you can now do better. So she's going to be setting up a full-fledged information session where you can get a chance to know her, understand her philosophy. She's going to share some success stories as we wrap up this call right now. Just some people that she's helped just in the last several months. She's going to give you some before and afters. But understand this, if what we're saying makes sense to you and you want to learn, you want to be in a better position, you want to learn the right questions to ask and how to strategically partner with people to get you in a better position to win, great. Listen, whether you partner with us or not is irrelevant. We're going to do what we do regardless, okay? We just want you to have the information. If you're privileged enough to partner with Courtney and she's willing to work with you, she's going to work wonders, okay? She's absolutely going to work wonders. So my name is Ed Blunt. This is Courtney Epps. She's going to share just a few success stories with you, and then we'll wrap this up so that you all can make a decision about going to the next step.
So I finished up a client just a few minutes ago, and it was $7,000 difference. They have a home-based business. And last week, I did probably the biggest client that I've saved money on. It was $55,000 on a $800,000 a year restaurant, and that was just for 1 year. So we're obviously going back and amending a couple more years' tax returns. But, you know, I think the biggest ones that I love helping are, you know, smaller families that just getting started in home-based businesses, and they haven't made any money yet, or maybe not enough to cover their expenses, and their husband may be telling them that they're crazy for being in a network marketing company. And then I come along beside them and say, hey, I'm going to show you how it's so beneficial. And I remember one this year, and it was $7,000 more that they got back this year as opposed to last year. So I, you know, explained to the husband, I was like, well, that was like your wife making an extra 12 grand. in
Wow.
her home-based business. And then he started thinking differently. And when people understand they may not be great at network marketing today, but this is the only thing that I know, or a home-based business, it doesn't really matter, but this is the only thing that I know, that you can learn how to do something and make more income, but you also get massive tax savings on the back end. So on top of that, I think I did another one just a couple weeks ago. It was $27,000 that they overpaid in taxes, and we got that money back. So I just love, I mean, it just keeps going every single day. We're saving money for people.
And listen, Courtney, she can't do what she does if she's not producing results. Like, that's the beauty of it. She's got the track record. Okay, anybody can talk a good game, but she has the proven track record and the success stories to demonstrate what she's been doing now for almost 2 decades. So if you're going to be smart, make sure that you plug in. Get back to the person that sent you this link and say, listen, I would love to be a part of her webinar. I'd love to get more information on being a potential client of hers. So they will send you to the next link, whatever that date is, because we're both, incredibly busy with our schedules right now, but we're doing this on a regular basis. So you'll be able to plug into something live. Understand, there's a phrase that says the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Now, why is someone who is a multi-billionaire bragging about not paying taxes, and then someone else who's barely making, as you said, $60,000 a year is complaining about paying too much taxes? There's something wrong with that picture. It's because rich people think differently because they have access to information that we never had access to. No one ever took the time to teach us. Well, guess what? Now you're going to have access. Now someone of Courtney's ilk and expertise is going to take the time to teach you so you can learn the right ways of how to approach your taxes each and every year and add that additional stream of income. It's been said, Courtney, that the average millionaire has somewhere between 4 and 14 streams of income. The average millionaire, okay? You certainly are not going to be hurt if you have an additional 1 or 2. That being a home-based business, and then what you can actually save in taxes, that becomes an additional stream as well. And there's nobody better at breaking this down and really helping you understand the overall costs of it, the life cycle costs, how it hits your bank account and all of that, than Courtney Epps. So you got the best of the best that you're going to have access to as a result of the person that sent you this link. So don't take that lightly. We look forward to seeing you on one of our live webinars and certainly helping you get more educated on the power of the home-based business arena and how that can affect your bottom line. So Courtney Epps, thank you so much for jumping on. I know you're in tax prep mode and servicing clients right now, so we appreciate you taking out a couple of minutes of your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ed Blunt. This is Courtney Epps. We'll see you soon. And remember, be smart. Be smart. Like, don't be foolish with your money. Let's help you. Let us help us to help you make use of more money. All right, take care.